Well, hey there, folks. I'm meteorologist Matt Barrentine. Thank you for joining us here on Fox 10 News. Now we got major changes going on in the tropics that we really need to go over here for you now. So I'm getting everything set up. I will be on momentarily. We are now under a tropical storm watch for parts of our area for the possibility of tropical storm conditions within about a day and a half is what we're looking at now. And things, like I said, they have changed. All right, I think I got everything cooking now. Okay, a lot to go over with. I knew this situation with having two storms coming in basically in the same area is going to cause issues with the forecasting, and it has. And Marco has now thrown us a pretty decent little curveball. And what it did, Marco's this one here, is that last night it formed a very small low-level center. And when a storm forms a very small low-level center, a lot of the models have a hard time seeing it because of the resolution. Think about your old flip phone. You remember the old flip phone? You took that picture and the picture would be all pixelated. You couldn't zoom in at all. Well, that's similar to the way models work. They create grids, and over time those grids have gotten smaller, have gotten better resolution, more pixels in the picture when it comes to a forecast. But this was still so small that the models didn't pick it up well, and it's thrown a real monkey wrench in the forecast. I'll get more into that in a second. I know I'm probably rattling on too long. You want to know what's happening. All right, so tropical storm watch now out for Mobile and Baldwin counties. Other counties, the Mississippi counties, because they are under the National Weather Service over in New Orleans, Slidell, they haven't been posted yet, but they will be. They'll be under a tropical storm watch as well. So we're looking at tropical storm watches from Baldwin County to points westward. Let's see why, right? Well, here are the double trouble tracks on top of each other. Not fun, right? Okay, so I know this is confusing, and I'm showing it all to you at once. And I know this will be a little confusing. I'm going to break these separately out in a minute. The yellow times and wind speeds, that is Marco. The blue, that is Laura. Crazy, huh? All right, so get off that for a second because I know that's just confusing. All right, so here's Marco's latest, 65-mile-per-hour wind. So Marco last night became a tropical storm. It formed this little low-level center, and it spun up very quickly, and it's still moving pretty at a decent pace, at around 13 miles an hour. So you have a small storm that's spun up quickly and is moving at a pretty decent pace. And now look at the new forecast path for Marco. Remember yesterday did kind of the same thing, but the center of the path was more like this. It was more like what's now the southern part of the path. Now the center part of the path is dead on the mouth of the Mississippi River. That would put us on the east side of the system, getting some impacts. Now, I do anticipate this will be a small system. This isn't going to be a big Katrina-sized storm. This is going to be a very small-sized storm, but yet we'll still be on the east side of this. Areas like Dauphin Island especially are going to get some very serious impacts from a path, a track like this. And I'll talk more about why thinkings have changed with the path, why it's shifted over. Essentially what it's done is this whole path has shifted about 100 miles or so. We still anticipated making that westward turn, but unfortunately it looks like it's going to make that landfall in Louisiana before it does so. Before the models are saying it was going to make a westward turn off the coast and go over towards Houston. But you can see the timing now. This is 1 o'clock Monday, folks. Right now it's Saturday afternoon. That means we got tomorrow to get ready, and that's it. Because you wake up Monday morning, we're going to be starting to deal with outer bands from this system. This thing has picked up speed, it's moving fast, and it's heading, well, due into Louisiana, but we'll be on the close enough to this to where we will get impacts from it. I'll show you the modeling with the details with the GFS, the American model, the European model. I'll show you that in a second. I just got to get you the bare numbers first. All right, 4 p.m. advisory for Laura. Laura's got a little better organized today, still moving at a very good clip, 18 miles an hour to the west. The reason why it's been able to organize a little better, it stayed just offshore, at least the center did, off of Puerto Rico. But now it's about to go straight down the pipe here across the Dominican Republic. So that's going to hamper it from further development, at least for the time being. We do anticipate it will keep working its way down Cuba. Now, the forecast path for Laura hasn't changed a whole lot. It's kind of similar, but I'm thinking we're probably going to be nudging this one a bit eastward as well. And they have this one coming in as a minimal hurricane. Remember that I just showed you Marco, minimal hurricane is what's anticipated. This one is anticipated as a lower end hurricane as well. on Wednesday afternoon. Remember, the other one was Monday at 1. This is Wednesday at 1. So 48 hours later, it may be the same exact spot, getting another hurricane. 2020 is just a gift that keeps on giving, isn't it? All right, so let me go ahead and get you a little closer in there, Laura. There's 1 o'clock. You can see now, I mean, they have been nudging this eastward progression around a little bit, this eastward part of the cone. This morning it was right on the state line between Mississippi and Alabama. Now it's cut through Baldwin County. So our area is still in the cone here. That's certainly part of it. Okay, so let's talk about what's happening here. Like I said, we knew this one would be a little crazy. But this has been not going to be very fun. All right, so let's see what's happening here with the steering flow. This is looking at the upper level winds and what the steering is. And this is the big guy. This is the big steering pattern right here. It's called the upper level high. Systems like Laura, they want to go around this high. Think of this like a mountain out there. And storms want to go around the mountain. They can't climb right over it, so they have to go around it. Of course, these mountains move, right? They move, they grow, they shrink. So it's not a solid in-place mountain, but it is. Think of it as a mountain. So what's happened with Marco? Well, Marco's spun up really quick, and it's moving faster, and it's a little stronger. So what it's doing, it's outracing the mountain, essentially. So this mountain's moving to the west, and Marco is outracing it. So now it looks like it's going to have more an easterly progression. What the models were seeing yesterday was that Marco was going to be a little slower and weaker, and this high was going to be able to push it farther to the west. Now, eventually, this high will push it to the west, but it might, like I said, it looks like it's already going to be on land before it can do so, probably somewhere over Louisiana. And here comes Laura, tracking around the high as well. And there goes Marco. Marco disappears. Laura's right on its tail, but now the high is built in a little bit better, and that hopefully will push Laura a little bit over to the west. May not, though. Laura may be able to outrace that high too, or the high may not be strong enough to push it quite that far. So let's look at some of the models with the good details. This is the European model. This is the one that is usually the best at picking up tropical systems. This one's been a little bit behind, I'll put it that way, on these two systems so far. But we'll compare this to the American model right after this. So kind of keep in mind where you're looking at stuff, and you'll see how close they are. They're really close. And when they're really close, that usually means you're both onto something here. So noontime Sunday, Marco, Laura, not Polo. 10 p.m. on Sunday, here it is, due south of us. You got Laura over in Cuba. Here we are, 7 a.m. Monday morning. So here's what I'm talking about. It's Saturday afternoon now. We've been watching these things for a few days. Like, boom, this one's just sped up on us. And we're talking tomorrow, getting ready for this. Let me back up just a wee bit here so we can, because it's possible by Sunday, go back Sunday evening. Here we are Sunday at 7. Could be getting some outer rain bands already along our coastline by Sunday evening. And then as we go into Monday morning, here it is, mouth of the Mississippi right here. We're on the east side of all this, so where the nasty weather will be, this would certainly lead to some flooding along, especially our vulnerable areas like Dauphin Island. That's going to be a pretty bad hammering there on the east side of, on the east side of the system, the right-hand side of the system. Also, that would push a lot of water up into Mobile Bay as well. Here it is. It's right there on top of the mouth of the Mississippi River, 3 p.m. Monday afternoon. Now look at Laura. I mean, it's following right in its wake. So it's making landfall Monday afternoon. Monday evening, we'd probably still be getting a lot of rain. Here comes Laura. And watch Laura following almost exact same spot. Here we are Tuesday at 7. And then we get Wednesday at 9 in the morning. Boy, doesn't that look familiar. 2 days apart. Perhaps the same area. Now, once again, a little bit to the west of us, but we'd certainly be getting some impacts from this. And boy, it doesn't take much more of a jog for either of these to fully be in our area. All right, so we're getting, you can talk about too close for comfort. These are more than that. And real issue here. Okay, so that's the European model. And so let's compare that to the American model. What is this model saying? Let's look and see if there's any differences. Here we are, noon on Sunday. There's Marco right in the middle of the Gulf. Here we are at 10 o'clock, probably once again, already getting some outer bands here from Marco along our coastline. Here's Monday morning. Now, remember what Monday morning looked like on the European model? It looked exactly the same. So these two models are in complete agreement on this now, and they just came to this agreement the last model run. And the model run before, GFS had started to pick up on this. European was behind. Then the afternoon models came out. They're both on the same wavelength. These are completely different models, running completely different places. They're both on the same wavelength with this. That will have a landfalling small possible hurricane here at the mouth of the Mississippi River by Monday morning. We'd be getting impacts by Monday morning, by when kids would be going to school, by when you'd be going to work. Be dealing with impacts from a tropical system. This thing has sped up on us. In fact, we were much more concerned with Laura at first because most of the models kept Marco pretty far to our west and kept it fairly weak. That's off the board. It's a stronger system. It's not very big, but it's stronger. And now the models are in agreement on the mouth of the Mississippi. Like I said, we knew there was going to be some challenges, to say the least, with two systems coming in at the same time. And boy, yeah, this is one that's like I said, it's a learning experience for all of us to have to deal with something like this. Monday afternoon, so here we go. Let's see what happens now with Laura behind it on the American model. Here it comes, Tuesday evening, Wednesday at noon. Almost dead on the same as what the European is showing. Maybe a little bit smidge more. Because remember, the European had it basically right in the same spot at the mouth of the Mississippi. This one's a little smidge more to the west, but not much. That's pretty much dead on. So a Monday landfall of a small hurricane, a Wednesday landfall of what may be a slightly larger hurricane. I think it'll be certainly larger in size, and wind speed is likely to also be stronger as well. I know a lot of times you think, well, okay, well, this other storm's coming in right behind it. Won't that first storm stir up the water and cool things off? Could a little bit, but the thing is, Marco's going to be moving fast, so it may not have much of a drain there on it. So everybody that's joining, I do appreciate it. I'm sorry, I'm kind of losing my voice already. It's going to be hard the next few days. I haven't talked so much. But once again, very good agreement here from both the American and the European models that we are going to be dealing with double trouble here, possible two hurricanes making landfall in essentially the same spot somewhere in Louisiana as what they're calling for now. Keep in mind, it's already shifted a good bit. So there's certainly not out of the question things could shift more. And it's not a far jog down the coast to get to our coastline. All right, so you got this. We're going to pay attention to this very closely. I mean, this is where science has gotten a lot better since I've been doing this for 20 years. And it's night and day compared to what we had to deal with 20 years ago with the modeling and that sort of thing. It's a lot better now with the model, the forecast. I know everybody, you remember the bad ones when they get blown up. You'll probably remember with Marco because of how it gets blown up. The forecast got blown up. But it's been a lot better in recent years, certainly, since the 20 years I've been watching this. But this one is certainly bringing some major challenges because of two systems at one time that we are dealing with. So if you're just joining a little late, I'll show you real quick again. We'll go back through the numbers. These are the 4 o'clock numbers, the brand new numbers. Marco is still a tropical storm, winds at 65 miles an hour, so it's sort of been holding steady all day. But it's also been moving north. It got stronger a lot quicker than what the models were originally calling for, and that's changed the forecast for it. Now the forecasts look dead on. And I'll say something for National Hurricane Center. They really took this one this afternoon and said, you know what, we're going to have to make a big change. A lot of times what they tend to do is make sort of incremental changes. They want to see more runs of the models to see what's happening. But the problem is this one's already so close in that they're going with it because they're looking at their two main global models saying the same exact thing. They came both within a line on this just today. And so they've gone with it. And they're going with the mouth of the Mississippi landfall. But you got to keep in mind, a few miles here makes a big difference to us, either east or west. We're going to get impacts if it makes a landfall like this, especially Dauphin Island, Fort Morgan, Gulf Shores, in and around parts of Mobile Bay, even as the water comes up. But if it jogs to the east side of this, getting closer to the state line, obviously then we'll be looking at a direct impact. I know The good news it is moving fast, so it's not likely to be able to grow into a very powerful storm. Likely will be a Category 1. The intensity forecast is probably pretty good here. But still, I mean, get one of those coming in directly, that's going to cause a mess, especially this quick. Like I said, this is Monday afternoon, and by Monday morning, we're already dealing with some very stout bands coming in along the coastline. That quick. You got tomorrow to get ready. That's it. So get out there this afternoon, take down the umbrellas that you got out there on the deck, get kid toys that might get, knocked around, or anything else you got out in the yard that could get blown around. You need to go ahead and take care of that. Get done with it today. So there it is, a little closer in. You can see, that easterly side of this, that's getting close to the state line. And once again, if things can, it doesn't necessarily have to be in that cone. They've gotten real good in recent years. The Fort Hurricane Center has of keeping it within this cone. But things still happen, and this is a very strange situation with two storms coming in the same place. Laura, 50-mile-per-hour winds, west at 18, moving along good through the islands. It's going to continue moving through the islands through Monday. That's Monday afternoon. So keep in mind, we'll likely be having a landfall here Monday afternoon, and here Laura is setting up right here, just moving into the Gulf of Mexico. So getting a landfall of one storm, Marco, then having another entering the southern Gulf. Wednesday afternoon, so 48 hours later, possibly coming into right around the same spot, okay? Now, the Hurricane Center is going more with the European solution. That's the center of their tracks, what the European is saying. The American model has it once again coming in almost the same exact path of Marco. And once again, a few miles here make a big difference. This will likely be a bigger storm, maybe a little bit stronger wind-wise, but certainly I think it's going to be bigger size-wise. Marco looks like it'll be a fairly small in size storm, but this will be fairly big, or at least larger than Marco, and it'll be moving on through. So let me cut on over so you can see that. Look at that there. Hold on just a second. I'll be right there. All right, I had to field a quick phone call there, but I wanted to go ahead and knock that out. So anyway, so you can see what issues we have. I'll put that double track up here for us. That's what we're looking at, folks. A lot to talk about here next couple of days. The main thing is I want you to go ahead and start getting ready now. We are going to be seeing some level of impacts from at least one of these storms, or probably both. Especially in the southern part of our viewing area down along the coastline, we're going to get some impacts, likely of at least of high-end tropical storm strength and maybe even of low-end hurricane strength. So get prepared for that. That's a real possibility for everybody this storm. I'm sorry I couldn't really get to all the everything on the folks are saying here on Facebook. I got to go hit go to a meeting as we gear ourselves up here at Fox 10. Obviously, we are going to be covering this from start to finish, so we'll be bringing you everything you need to know. A lot of break-ins and things like that. Of course, we'll keep you updated. Once again, we are now under a tropical storm watch because of that. Like I said, we're going to at least see high-end tropical storm conditions, especially along our coastline and in areas around Mobile Bay with these two storms. I'm meteorologist Matt Barentine. We will be back with you later. There's another update coming in at 7 p.m. from the Hurricane Center. I will bring you that live.